We're going to be going through a full body mobility routine called CARS, which is Controlled Articular Rotations. All that means is we're going to be taking each and every joint through their full range of available movement. And this is just done for health purposes, just to bring some movement into the joints. So to get that fluid moving, we're going to be doing it at a low intensity. So it's something that you could do in the morning, like a morning routine, and you can sprinkle it throughout your day to get some daily movement in. So a couple of things before we get started is pain. So we don't want to be pushing through any painful or pinching sensations on any of the joints, especially the closing angle. So I'm going to give you an example with my neck. So if I was to start side bending my neck, this angle this side is going to be the closing angle and this would be the opening angle. If I feel any painful pinching sensations in this area, then I want to be slightly backing out and trying to navigate around it the best I can, and that's the same with every joint. So there may be some tightness or some restriction, and as long as it's not painful, we don't want to be pushing through that. So because as we get to our end ranges, it can become a little bit restricted or tight, so that's completely normal. Second thing is that we want to be bringing some tension into the body, or what's called a radiation. So I'm going to be bringing like a 2 out of 10 or 20% irradiation, and all that means is I'm going to be bringing tension throughout my body. So I'll give you an example with my shoulder. As I'm trying to move my shoulder, if I'm really relaxed, I might start moving the rest of my body, so I'm not getting the full movement of my shoulder. So to be able to move my shoulder independently on its own, I want to be able to bring some tension into the body, and that's going to keep me as a statue. And also I'm imagining that I'm moving through a slightly more dense than air. So it's going to feel like I'm bringing a little bit more tension into that area as I'm moving it. So this particular video I'm going to be doing all in a standing position. So I'm going to want either a door frame or an object where when I do my hips and my shoulders, just to be able to bring in a little bit of balance, because we're going to be standing on one leg. So I'm just going to use a stick, but other than that we should be fine without any equipment. And I've also got some videos of different positions and variations. So either we can do it in seated, or you can be on the floor. So there's lots of different variations for these movements, but just for this follow-on video, I'm going to be doing it all in standing. So I'm not going to go into too much detail for this particular one. So we're going to get started. So I'm going to take a breath in, so through my nose, nice and gentle, bring some tension through the body. So I'm just going to gently squeeze my legs, my midline. I can close my wrists. Close my hands together, clenching my fists, just nice and gentle, bringing some tension up through the body, and then I can begin to move my neck. So I'm going to slowly bring my chin to my shoulder, and then I'm going to start to scrape it along my collarbone, and I'm going to try and take my chin to the left shoulder, and then if I can, I'm going to drop that ear over the shoulder, and then slowly start to rotate and bring my chin. So I'm trying to do the biggest circle I can with my chin and my eyes towards the ceiling, and then I'm going to take it to the opposite direction. So I'm trying to take that ear over the shoulder, eventually bringing the chin to the shoulder, and then coming back through to the centre, and then I can go back in the opposite direction. Again, keeping my chin as close as I can to my collarbone, chin to the shoulder, dropping that ear back, and then eyes towards the ceiling. I'm going to go back over, then bring the chin down, and then coming back to centre. Again, I'm not pushing through any pain, not just trying to bring gentle tension in. So chin to the shoulder, starting to fall back, bring that chin and eyes towards the ceiling, over to the opposite shoulder, chin down, scraping back to the centre. So reverse. So it's nice and slow and controlled, a little bit of tension. And so last rep, we're going to go back, so falling back, eyes towards the ceiling, head comes over, chin to that shoulder, back to the centre, and then going back, round, nice and slow, nice and controlled, and bring that chin back to the shoulder. So next thing is we're going to have a go at the shoulders, so the scapula. So with this one, I'm going to put my arms out straight in front of me, so they can be slightly out. Okay, again, I could clench my fist, that would bring in a little bit of tension. It's completely fine to have your arms, palms out, with the thumbs up maybe. And then I'm going to just imagine there's a shelf underneath my arm. So rather than my arm going up and down, it's going to try level as I'm moving it forwards and backwards. And we're going to try and move the shoulders on their own without sort of curving the spine or leaning back. We're going to be neutral the best we can, maybe a slightly wider stance. So from there, I can take a breath in, again, radiate the rest of the body. So from there, I can squeeze just like a 20%, and then I'm going to bring, the best I can, my shoulders up towards my ears. So as far as I can go, then I'm going to drive them arms forward. So really pressing away as far as I can. And then I'm going to attempt to bring them down, keeping my arms nice and straight. And then I'm going to pull back as far as I can. So I'm squeezing my shoulder blades together. And then again, I go up towards my ears, push forward, pulling down, and then back, up, forward, down, back, and then I can reverse, so coming up, then I'm going to go down, then I'm going to push forward as far as I can, lift them shoulder blades up, pulling them back, so I'm squeezing them together, and then down, forward, up, back, down, forward, up, back, and then we can rest there. So I'm going to do my elbows now. So what I can do is, again, I'm going to bring some tension, just nice and gentle, into the midline, into my feet and my legs. And I'm going to, this time I'm going to hold my palms out. So again, I'm bringing some tension into the arms. And from there, I'm going to begin to flex. So I'm going to, like I'm doing a bicep curl, I'm bringing my arms up as far as they can go. Once I get as far as I go, I'm going to turn my palms so they're now facing away. So I'm squeezing my biceps just gently, and then I can take them palms down and straighten my arms. And then from there, I'm going to turn them back over and then flex. Up as far as I can go, turn, so I'm squeezing my biceps, then going down, again, over, up, turn, and then down. Now I'm going to pause there, and I'm going to come back up with my palms facing down, so bringing them back. As far as I can go, I squeeze my biceps gently, turn my palms so now they're facing towards me. And I'm going to slowly begin to extend and straighten my arms, turning over, so up, turn, down. So I'm trying to generate that movement from the elbow, so I'm turning, even though I'm turning my arms, the movement is coming from the elbow. Up, turn, and then down. And then from there we can go into the wrist position. So I'm going to try and keep my arms as straight as possible, and then I'm going to, palms are facing up. I'm going to show you another variation on this one because it's quite quick. So I'm going to take all my little finger and all my other fingers, I'm going to bring them into the midline, and then I'm going to slowly extend my arm, or my wrist, sorry, down, and then I'm going to try and bring it out. So I'm trying to turn out as far as I can, keeping my wrist straight, a little bit of tension in my arms and my feet. Up, so now they're up as far as I can go. And I'm just going to carry on in that circular movement. So again, staying out of any painful pinching sensations on the closing angle, and then keep rotating. So I'm just trying the best as I can to keep my arms straight while I'm moving my wrists. And then I would reverse and do 3 in the opposite direction. But if that's a little bit challenging for you, so again, we could do this anywhere. I'm going to just grab one wrist, and now I can do one on its own. So again, I can bring that wrist up, take it into the midline, and then just rotate, just doing the biggest circle I can with my wrist. Again, you could have your fingers out, you could have knuckles clenched. You know, there's lots of different variations, but just for this one, just doing the biggest circle I can, maybe just 3 in each direction. So just nice and slow and controlled. So sometimes you might notice there's a little skipping and it just jerking it as you're moving through. That's completely normal. It's trying to make them connections to all that fine motor movement. So, okay, so we've done the neck, scapula, the elbows and the wrists. So we're going to move on to the shoulders now. So I'll show you from this direction first. So I'm going to again try and bring, because this is a bigger joint, I'm going to try, I might need a little bit more radiation this time. So I'm going to take that breath in. So stabilize the midline, squeeze the legs, thighs. And then what I can do is, I'll start with the left hand. I'm going to bring my hand over to either the hip or the rib. I like the rib a little bit more. So, and then I'm going to gently pull on that rib. That's just going to give me some feedback to whether I'm moving my torso or not. And then from there, I'm going to start to rotate that bicep away from the midline. And I keep rotating, and I'm going to bring my shoulder across. Palm is facing up towards the ceiling, and then I'm going to start to, as I'm still trying to rotate, I'm going to bring that arm up. So now my bicep is facing towards my ear. Again, I've got that little bit of tension. Now I'm going to begin to rotate that bicep away. So I'm going into internal rotation, keeping my body as best as I can straight, and I'm going to keep rotating, lifting as high as possible and as reaching back as far as possible. Keep going all the way round until I get as far as I can go, and then I'm going to bring that arm down or pull it down towards, so it's straight in my body. So now I'm trying to rotate, and that palm is out, and I'm going to reverse. I'm going to go back. So as far as I can go, I hit that roadblock, and then I begin to rotate that bicep in the opposite direction. I'm beginning to start taking that movement all the way up to my ear. As I get towards my ear, that's as far as I can go, and I carry on rotating all the way around, and then I can bring my arm back down. So again, I'll show you from this angle. So I might want a slightly wider stance. So I'm coming across, up, rotating out, round, and just keep going as far as I can, hitting them little roadblocks. So back, rotate, up towards the ear, cross and down. So one more back, up, rotate that bicep, reaching as high and as far back as possible. And then last one, reverse, up, bicep towards the ear, across the body, and then back down. And I'll do the opposite. So again, I'm just going to tuck on my rib, bring some tension in, take my arm across my body, bicep towards the ear, rotating, turning away, and just doing the best I can to keep my body straight. And then reverse. So I'm coming up towards the ear, cross, down, and back, up. Keep following that movement. So again, this is CARS, it is a skill, so something that we're learning the movements. So once you get to know it, you'll be able to do it without looking at a video. So last one, up. I'm going to go out, rotating back as far as I can. And then last one, reverse. All the way up, round and down. Okay, so I'm going to do the spine now. A couple of ways you could do it is just either bringing the hands across or just hooking over onto the shoulders. So I'll start in this position first. I'll just start with my hands, and then again, tension in the midline, take that breath in, stabilise, a little bit of tension in the legs, slightly wider stance. I'm going to slowly begin by tucking my chin, and then joint by joint, I'm going to slowly try and peel and pull myself down with my belly. So, and then once I get to roughly where I'm bending from around the centre point, okay, and then from there I'm going to start to rotate or turn to the left. Then I'm going to start to bring my shoulder down and start to close this gap and pull in. So I'm taking my shoulder towards my hip like a side bend. Then in that position I'm going to start to extend back. Then from there I'm going to take my chest and towards, so it's facing up towards the ceiling, and then carry on that movement all the way over to the opposite side. Again, then pulling that shoulder down towards the hip, and then pulling yourself through, round, and then back to the centre, and then reverse. So turn, side bend, extend back, rotate up towards the ceiling, opposite side, pulling down, round, and back to the centre. Show you from this position. So I'm pulling down, I'm going to turn, side bend, so really squeezing inside there, extend back in that same position, all the way to the top, over, pull down through, and then reverse. So extend back, all the way over, pulling down through, last one, turn, side bend, extend back, all the way up to the top, over, pulling down, round and through, and then we'll go back, side bend, extend back, all the way up, over, down, and then through. Okay, so we're going to go for the hips now. So this is where I'm going to use my stick, it's just for balance. So when it comes to this, you can either have it in each hand, so sometimes it might feel more comfortable if I'm doing my left leg to have it in that hand, and sometimes it might feel more comfortable in that hand, so whatever is your choice. So I'm going to have it in my left hand and do the left leg. So again, from there, I'm going to take a breath in, create some tension, and then I'm going to slowly begin to take my whole leg across the body, and then I'm going to start to lift my knee up as far as it can go until I get as far as my active range allows me, and I'm still in this rotated position. So I'm rotating in towards the midline. Then from there, I'm going to begin to peel or open the hip out as I'm straightening my leg. I'm mindful not to turn my body, so I'm trying to face my core of my body forward. And then from there, I'm going to try to rotate that ankle into the air without hiking my hip, and slowly then drive or kick back, squeezing the glute, and then I'm going to pull my knees together in that position, and then I can gently relax, and then I'm going to do the opposite. So I'm going to drive back, peel that hip out, pulling the knee up, towards the armpit, taking it across the body, rotating, and then slowly going down, but we can reverse, so come back and out. So nice, smooth, still got tension in the movement, nice and controlled. And go out, up. So bring across, down, up, last one. So peeling out, rotate, ankle into the air, and then begin to drive that hip back, just the best you can. Squeeze in, pulling the knees together, and then reverse, up, round, rotating, and then down. So this one I can show you from a different angle. So again, I take my breath in, a little bit of tension in the stick. I'm going to take my leg across the body, bring that hip up as far as it wants to go, and then I'm going to begin to rotate or open the hip out, kick that ankle up into the air, slowly drive that hip back into extension, pull them knees together, so bring it forward to touch, and then we can reverse. So bring that knee out, or open the hip out, and then pull that knee up towards the armpit, slowly across the body, rotate, and then down, up, out, kicking that ankle up into the air, driving back as far as you can, pulling that knee to centre, and reverse, out, up, round, and last one, so pulling up, out, rotate, drive that leg back, squeezing that glute, pulling that knee in, and then reverse, out, doing the best you can to stay like a statue while you're moving your hip. Okay, so for the next one, I'm going to do the ankles, then I'll do the knees, and then the toes, and then we can do some spine flexion extension. So if I'm going to do my left ankle, I'm thinking about hopefully locking my knee out, so that's just going to be able to keep my legs straight so I can move my ankle independently of the shin and the leg. So from there, slightly locked, I'm going to press my foot down, then I'm going to rotate or turn it in to the midline. I'm going to gently pull the foot up as high as it goes, then I'm going to turn it out and then press down. So pressing down, in, up, out, and just carry on in that movement. And then from there I can reverse, so I'm going to reverse, down, and up. So nice and slow and controlled. So we don't need as much tension to be able to move the ankle as what we say do the shoulder and the spine. I'll do one more. And I can switch. So again, pointing that leg out, and use the hand wherever you want, a little bit of tension. So I'm going to press down into the midline, pull that foot up as high as it will go, and then rotate it away from the midline, pressing down, and just keep moving in that movement. Out, down, in, up, and do one more. And up, and then I'm going to switch and go in the opposite direction. And that's 2, pushing down, lifting up. The last one. Okay, so the next one is the knees. So best position probably from here, So I'm just going to bring the leg in, now bend my leg, and my shin moves on its own, so I can rotate. My shin moves backwards and forwards on tibia. Okay, and that should rotate just in and out, or internal, external. Okay, and we're going to do that whilst moving, flexing and extending the knee. So from here, got slight bend in the leg, I'm going to turn my foot out, and I'm going to slowly flex, turn my foot in, and then extend, and just keep doing that. So lifting, or up as far as we can, rotate, down, turn, up, in, and then down. Then we can reverse, so we're going up, turn, down. So we're not locking the leg out, just keeping it bent, up, in, down. Last one, up, in, and down. So if you show it from this angle. So again, got a slightly bent leg. I'm going to turn my foot out, which turns my shin. Then I'm going to flex, rotate it in the opposite direction, and then bring it back. So out, flex, in, extend, out, flex, in, extend, and then opposite direction, go up, turn the ankle out, in, up, out, down. Last one, in, up, out, and down. And then I'm going to go do the toes now. So trying to keep the toes the best we can on the floor. So this is really challenging if your toes are not used to moving independently. So just give it our best. So what I'm going to do is keeping the 4 toes down. I'm going to gently try and peel the big toes off the floor. So lifting them as high as I can, and then gently pressing them toes back to the floor. So again, peeling them off the floor, lifting them, slowly taking them best we can down, then up, and slowly down. And then now we're going to try and keep both the big toes pressed down, and gently, or we're going to try and squeeze the outer 4 toes up. So we're doing best to not turn the feet in. So we're trying to keep all the knuckles of the toes flat on the floor. And then we're going to slowly press down. Then back up, outer 4 toes. And then down. So last one, up. And then down. And then we're going to try and pick all the toes up. So all 5 toes are picked up off the floor. And then we're going to slowly just try best we can to touch the big toe down, and then gently bring it back up. So pressing down while the other toes are staying up. And then up, down, up. And then from there we're going to try and start with the little toe first. We're going to fan the little toe out, try and press the next toe down, and then gently bring them all down until all toes are touching down, and try to fan them out. Pick them all up, little toe first, and just keep going each toe until the big toe presses down. So last one, up, out, and then down. And so I'm going to finish off with the spine. I normally like to do this on the floor, but I can show you in the other video. So we can just do this by, if I had a kitchen worktop, I could just put my hands on the kitchen worktop. Okay, and then from this position, we're just going to take the spine through some flexion extension. So I'm going to begin by tucking my pelvis under. I'm going to round my spine and tuck my chin down. So imagine like if that was a worktop. Okay, and from that position, I'm going to take my hips in the opposite direction. So I'm now tilting my pelvis forward, and I'm going to begin to try and rotate, or take, so I'm not rotate, I'm going to take that spine into extension, and sort of bringing my eyes towards the ceiling. And now I'm going to take my hips in the opposite direction, and tucking them under, rounding the spine into flexion, chin comes down, and back in the opposite direction. So trying to take that wave up through the spine, tuck, so all the way into flexion, and that's all the way back into the opposite direction. Okay, actually I'll show you on the floor as well, that might make it a little bit more understandable. So we could just be in a 4-6 point position on the floor, tuck my toes, or I can have them flat down, and then from there I'm going to round my spine up towards the ceiling. So I've got a little bit of tension, and then as slow as I can I'm going to slowly tilt my hips forward and trying to go joint by joint or segment by segment all the way up through my spine, through the middle of my spine, up through my shoulders. So trying to work that wave up through my neck. And then once I'm in this fully extended position, I'll go back in the opposite direction. And we'll try to tuck my pelvis or my hips under, and then round that spine nice and slowly all the way through. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that video. Like I say, check my other ones out if you want to get a little bit more understanding of each of the movements, and also there's some variations in the movements that I showed. So, okay, thank you for watching. See you again.